Good evening on the Saturday before Easter Sunday. Hope all you guys are having a wonderful time with your family. I appreciate y'all being here. Looks like we've got a couple people in the chat already. Bassman Pat, Brian Lee. Good evening, gentlemen. We're going to go ahead and get started. Pardon me. Lungs are kicking my butt today. Let's give it a minute or two so we can kind of get a couple more people in here. And I want to kind of go over a little bit of housekeeping before we get started on the very near and dear to my heart subject we're going to be talking about this evening. And pardon me one moment. Let me go ahead and get this over here real quick. All righty. Hey, Fish with a Bobber in here this evening. Good to see you, kind sir. All righty, folks are starting to file in. So I want to address a little bit of housekeeping here as folks are getting in here. It's something I want to make sure folks hear. So I'm going to give one or two more people a chance to enter in here. But I hope y'all are having a fantastic, wonderful holiday weekend. Today, the Saturday before Easter Sunday, is a very important, very special day for me every year. And I'll get to explain that to y'all this evening. And I want y'all to join in on the discussion. It's the reason why we do what we do. But first, I want to address a little bit of housekeeping. Kind of a hot topic that's been around the channel as of the last week or so. So let's jump right into it. Here's what we got going. Okay, I kind of typed up some notes here. Forgive me. I've been told recently in my covering of some of the different quote cheaters in our sport, right? Whether it be Jacob Hausman, whether it be the gentleman that just got caught up with a lifetime ban from Bassmasters. I've been told that anytime I reach out to them for their side of the story, that also happened with the gentleman, I forget his name off the top of my head. Remember the guy from West Point that they caught with the basket? I've been told that anytime I reach out to any of them for their side of the story, that I'm doing nothing more than giving them the platform and that I'm essentially the devil. Now, that bothers me. I don't make up my mind where stories are going before I have all the information. I let the facts dictate my opinions, and sometimes my commentary, my opinions show through on the channel. That's intended. Journalism isn't just all the time straight news. It can be commentary. It can be editorial. There's 1,000 different disciplines within journalism as an overhead umbrella. And I like to partake in as many of them as I can. I like to stretch my legs because it's literally how I grew up learning. So for someone to tell me that I'm biased towards, quote, tournament cheaters, because I have the audacity to get their side of the story before I run with something, is insulting. I feel like I can give y'all both sides and let y'all decide. I feel like that having information and withholding that information from you is not only doing you a disservice as a viewer, but is also kind of confirmation bias, right? I would at that point, I would be trying to implore upon you what my opinion is solely without any other evidence to weigh it against and kind of pushing y'all in that direction. And that's not at all what I do. I feel like y'all are adults. I feel like whatever I do that I can, pardon me. I feel like I can present y'all with that information y'all are more than smart enough and capable enough and mature enough to run with it and make up your own minds. I feel like hiding anything is doing a disservice to you. And if I'm going to do the research and all the hard work in finding out all these nuggets, I'm not going to just push it under the rug and not let it breathe. So that's that. Because, you know, obviously there's a difference between commentary and straight facts. I've went over that with y'all, numerous times. I know we have a lot of new viewers. I'm allowed to have my opinions, and I try to differentiate between what's opinion and what's fact. But again, I don't try to walk y'all down a specific road. Anyway, with all that said, if basically someone thinks that giving the accused the chance to have their opinion, their say, is wrong, is giving them a platform, then they can feel free not to watch. Because it's not just about that. I present both sides. If I think one side is weighted more than the other, from the sheer facts, that's where the story's going to go. A lot of these guys, when you reach out to them, of course, they don't want to talk. That's all fine and dandy. We've experienced that lately too, right? So, with all that said, it is what it is. I'm going to keep doing what I'm going to keep doing. Other channels can keep doing it the way they're doing it. But I feel like just as much, if there's an accusation of me giving someone a platform by at least showing their side, I think it's worse to cover facts up knowing them and not present things knowing them just because they want a story to go a certain direction. That's just me. Anyway, enough of that crap, because that's not what we're supposed to be here for today. The Saturday before Easter Sunday, like I said a while ago, is a very, my lungs are killing me, is a very important day for me. And my gosh, it was a Saturday before Easter Sunday. I want to say I was maybe 11 years old, 10, 11 years old, 11 years old, 10, 11, somewhere in there. I remember specifically it was a Saturday before Easter Sunday. My family and I went to a indoor crappie house, a fishing barge. And I'd caught lots of fish before on natural bait, live bait, cut bait, anything like that, salmon eggs, night crawlers, punch bait, you name it, right? Bank fishing off this barge. But I hadn't caught my first fish on a lure yet. I understand, a little bit of a late bloomer. I'm sure y'all have stories where y'all lapped me by several years. That's fine. But I want to tell a story. And it gets to the reason of why I love to fish. I call fishing my love language. Might sound a bit corny. I don't care, because I absolutely love fishing. And so here's how it went down. The night before this trip to this barge, my mother went and got customary bait like she does. And the guy at the tackle shop was trying to sell her on this one specific lure that they just been tearing them up on. And I've got one of those right here for you. Yes, I actually do fish, but it's been a while. Now, this is the color of a specific bait that you can't find anymore because they don't make it anymore. So now when I get them, I have to tie them myself. And my hooks are wanting to all have a wonderful time together. Is a redhead, green body, yellow-tailed roadrunner. Now, they've been tearing them up on this bait, or so the guy at the bait shop said. We make it out to this barge. I make a few casts. I get discouraged quickly because I'm not catching anything. I'm just about to give up, and I feel a hard thunk. Immediately, you know, that's what it feels like. Set the hook, get a hell of a pull back, and then I realize, oh, shit, I've only got 4-pound test line on because I'd come from a yearly trout tournament, annual trout tournament that I used to fish. And my spinning reel, old Daiwa Jupiter 1350 red die cast metal, spinning reel, still had 4-pound line on it. So now I'm like, oh crap. I start turning down my drag, letting the fish swim. It ends up being a 2.5, 3-pound barn door white bass. I caught 2 more in pretty quick succession. It was said that on the way home, I fell asleep with a smile on my face. I'd finally got over that hump. And from then, I started to learn, of course, a lot more lures. Had a great time with it. Started the tackle addiction, obviously, because at that point, you want one of every color of Roadrunners made. And back then, Blakemore TDI made a ton. They even made like 1/64th of an ounce Roadrunners. Tell me in the chat if y'all ever remember seeing those. I mean, itty bitty baby little micro Roadrunners. And so, a second. Sorry. Anyway, that hooked me. So from that day forward, I had a tackle addiction. From that day forward, anytime I saw a crappie jig that's like a tube jig, one of the old squid jigs, I bought them. All the different companies that made them. I want to say H&H used to have what they call a squid jig that wasn't like a saltwater squid jig. It was a crappie jig. That's going old school right there. A lot of people won't remember that. My drooling magazines as a kid were Mr. Twister, Meps. Blue Fox come later. Blue Fox come around like in the 90s. Mr. Little Stinker, the catfish tube baits had a little teardrop shape plastic baits that were weedless, that you filled them up. I never caught a damn thing on those, but they were cool. And then they come out with the trout version with trout scents that were even a smaller teardrop, had a little treble hook on the back of them, those things. That was like what I grew up fishing. Bass Pro Shops Master Catalog every year, drooled over it. Went by and circled on my wish list, starred all the pages. So that's what got me into fishing. Now I got the chance to learn from anybody that was willing to take me under their wing and show me a new technique, a new lure. It's how I learned how all the way up to later in life when I learned how to drop shot. Someone showed me that, and that's when I found out I was a finesse fisherman. I immediately fell in love with drop shotting. And of course, throwing a Cinco, wacky, of course. So to me, fishing is a love language. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen the movie Moneyball, and there's that line in there, that iconic line of, it's hard not to be romantic about baseball. Well, it's hard not to be romantic about fishing. And me, I'm sold out. I know that talking about a lot of the topics I do, some of the quote drama, the news of it, can get bogged down and kind of take us away from those subjects. So it sucks, but it's true. And that's why I think it's very important that once in a while we get back to the subject of fishing, like on a show like tonight. Because I call this my red, green, yellow day, from that red, green, yellow Roadrunner. And unfortunately, with my health and the wife's health, the last time I was fishing was a year ago today. The longest stretch in my entire life by miles that I haven't been able to wet a line. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. So, yeah. So I thought, since I can't get out there and wet a line today, I want to share that experience with you guys. And I want to have a few of y'all on tonight to share y'all's experiences about what got y'all fishing. If you remember what your first fish on a lure was, species, type of lure, size, color, where it was at, all that good jazz, I want to give y'all a chance to come on and share your experiences. So if I can figure out how here in one moment, I'm going to put in the chat the let me see here. I got to figure out how to put nope, that's not it. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put this over here in the chat. Now, here are the rules, guys. If y'all want to come on and share your story and talk for a while, I know we've got Brian Lee in here. We've got Fishing with the Bobber. We've got several folks, man. What I want to do is I want to put this over here. Oh, thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Kevin. I'm going to pop this in here. But when y'all pop up in the backstage area, make sure you're cammed up. You're in a good well-lit area, that your audio is going so we can hear you good. And we'll bring you on and chat for a bit and rotate through a few folks and kind of see what we find. I've reached out to a few other big time people that are probably hanging with their families, and I gave them very short notice, to be honest. So they probably won't be able to come on. But if they do, I'll make sure to pop them on. They're folks that y'all will definitely recognize, but I'm sure that they're probably doing other things. And if y'all are in the chat, y'all know who I'm talking about. Come on, hit that dadgum link. I'm gonna get you in here. But I'm about 99.9% sure they're doing something else. There we go. We got Mr. Bobber himself. Let's go ahead and bring him on in here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not familiar with this fine work, Fishing with the Bobber, Mr. Texas guy, if I remember correctly. Let's go ahead and get him popped up here. And how you doing tonight, sir?
Hey, CT, how are you?
Man, we're making it, man. How about yourself?
Oh, shoot. Just thinking about fishing, as I always am.
I'll tell you, Dead computer's not working out. Wish I had another mic up. It's hard for me to mute myself. Sitting over here hacking up along. So, on the subject tonight,
everyone's allergies are firing off right now.
Oh my gosh. That, and I've got just a bunch of water that sits on my lungs 24/7 anyway. Jeez. I'm always seem like a cat with a freaking hairball over here. So, what got you into fishing?
It's a two-part story to that, because my dad got me into fishing when I was little. We had a little camp or a cabin on Lake Nebagaman in Wisconsin, northern up by Superior. And we would go out there in the summer, and my dad would take me fishing just about every day. And we would go out, and I've got a little Rapala,
doing old school there,
floating. And we would go trolling, and I would just be sitting in there and up at the front of the, I don't know what, 10-foot, 12-foot aluminum with a 4-horse Chrysler motor with
Oh my
the
gosh,
plastic
yes.
prop on it, and we would catch the fire out of them on this, a black one, orange,
Mm.
I guess just any of them, but uh, we would just, I mean, and it would be walleye, northern pike, brim, small, I mean, anything and everything when we were trolling. And he had some spots, and those spots were pretty magical where we would just zigzag back and forth across it. And just about every time that lure got into that, you'd be pulling back on it. But
Oh man.
I'd be sitting up there just, and if I haven't had a bite in a while, dad, he'd be over there and he'd reach out and grab your line and give it a couple pops. Yeah. And you start reeling it in. And of course, he's back there laughing. Oh man, I missed it.
Oh.
But yeah, that's kind of what got me into it. And then I really got bored with it, and we were catching fish, but I just didn't want to sit there. I didn't want to sit on the dock or pier with a bobber. I know that's my YouTube channel, Fishing with a Bobber, but my name's Bob, so that's more of where that came from. But I quit fishing literally when I was like 8 years old until I
Heritage.
graduated college. And I went to college up for 2 years up in Alaska and didn't fish up there, and moved back home and saw a fly fishing video. And my dad got home from work, and I said, "Hey, do you have any fly fishing stuff? Have you ever been fly fishing? I saw this show, and they're walking in the river, and they're like doing stuff. They're not just sitting there waiting for the bite. They're like casting and mending the line. You know what fly fishing
Yeah.
is."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "That looks interesting." And we went. So he's like, "Yeah, let's go get our stuff set up, and we'll go tomorrow when I get home from work." And so we went out in the garage, got all this stuff going, and went out. And I think I caught a 6-inch, 8-inch rainbow trout on a dry fly, and was hooked. And that was really the only way I would go fishing. I wouldn't fish any other way but fly fishing. I was like, "This is the way fishing was meant to be. It's fly fishing or nothing at all." And then moved to Louisiana, which there's not a whole lot of fly fishing going on down there. And
Hmm.
they'd ask me, "Hey, you want to go fishing with us?" I'm like, "Are you going fly fishing?" They're like, "No." And so I'm just thinking we're just going to go sit um, on a pier with a bobber, which you catch a lot of fish doing that. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. If my mind goes places, I need to be doing something other than just sitting there. And so for through 3-4 years, I said no. I was probably 27, 28 years old when I found out that my roommate and his boss, the soccer coach at the university I was working at, Northwestern State at the time, um, they were going to fish a fishing tournament. And actually, what keyed me in, I said, "What?" They were leaving the office early one afternoon. I said, "What y'all doing?" They said, "Oh, we're going to go practice fishing." And I kind of looked at them and said, "You're going to go
Yeah.
practice fishing? Like, were you going to go out in the soccer field and just like cast and then like what is practice?" I didn't know. I didn't know there was tournaments. I didn't know there was pro fishing. I was fly fishing, and that was all I knew really. And they're, "No, we're gonna go try to find some spots to catch some fish in this tournament." And then so they explained it to me, and I was just like, whatever. Well, then they had an open tournament 2 weeks later, and my roommate took me, and I caught a catfish. Oh, they won a Zebco 303. And well, they won two because it was door prizes. It was a V&M tournament. That's where V&M was headquartered at the
Hmm.
time in Natchitoches. And
Oh
it
yeah.
was on the Red River. And they won two Zebco 303s. I got one of them. And the head soccer coach, his like 2 or 3-year-old son, got the other one. And that's what got me back into fishing, going fishing in that tournament and catching some fish on a spinnerbait on a Zebco 303. and I've been playing catch up since. But
Goodness.
the son, which is crazy, but awesome, of the soccer coach, Brody Mitchell, is on the Montevallo fishing team over in Alabama right now. Yeah. So he went a lot further with his Zebco 303 than I did.
Man, boy, you hit on so many memories there. It's my first taste of competitive fishing was, well, first I grew up watching the great Hank Parker. That was my childhood idol. And watching him call his wife from the stage when he was en route to win that Triple Crown, that's what got me wanting to be a tournament angler. And my first taste of actual tournament fishing was a trout tournament when I was like, hell, 9 or 10, I guess. And we'd been up visiting some relatives in another state, and we're coming back. And I was told, hey, we're going to be winding down past this river on this route home. Be looking out for anything that says, trout fishing or dam or river access or something. Because my only fishing for trout before then had been a trout hatchery in Missouri. And then,
are you from Missouri?
No.
Oh.
No, but that was visiting more family once upon a time. And then there was another kind of hatchery in a state park, Roaring River State Park, near Cassville, Missouri. And I'd been there, and I zeroed there too. And so I desperately wanted to kind of get that zero off my back when it come to real stream fishing. I mean, I'd caught some at like the hatchery, but you threw out a handful of pellets and plopped a bare hook in there and you caught one. So that was cheating. I knew better than that. So I wanted to catch one in an actual river. And I remember they had done a release of the water. Water come up, and there was a kind of a eroded cut in by where I was on the bank. And the water come up pretty good. And this cut in was narrow. This cut in was like, hell, I don't know. I mean, just about yay wide. So we're talking 2.5, 3 feet wide.
Yeah.
And back in from the river itself, back in on land, not even, maybe only about 2 feet in. So I mean, it was a short little area. Yeah. And I had a number 6 Aberdeen crappie hook and a couple of split shot above it and a little leader of 4-pound test line that the lady up at the office of this park. Oh yeah. Well, back up a second. I was told to look out for this place. Or look out for a place. And I see this little like garage sale size sign on the side of the road that says Trout Park. I'm like, I saw the word trout. And they're like, if we back up any there, we'll whoop your ass. I'm like, okay, I swear I saw it. So we backed up, went down there, talked to the lady at the gate. She taught us how to tie a line-to-line leader. We go down there. I have this Aberdeen. They said, make sure to hide your hook. By trout standards, a number 6 Aberdeen's freaking huge, right? That's way out of line. So what does my goofy kid ass do to hide this thing? I thread salmon eggs up the entire damn thing. From point all the way up past the dadgum knot. So it must have taken, 10 or 12 freaking salmon eggs to get around that bend all the way up there. But I'm like, it's hidden. I mean, it looked like a whole damn row sack, but I mean, it was hidden.
Yeah.
And I drop it down there, and sure as hell, rod. And what happens is that water would come in that little cut in and would just kind of swirl around before going back out. Mm-hmm. My line just sat there and did this around and pop, pop, pop. Said, look, had my first river trout. That was it. Hooked on fishing all over again. And then a gentleman that was fishing down there where my family was told him, or he told my family, said, hey, there's a spring tournament here every year. You got to come back for that. And to that point, I was begging from that point forward to make it back for that. And that first tournament, hearing, being there in this little cabin, hearing the gravel shift crunch as all the trucks come in all night long, people in their gear and their tents and their campers. I didn't sleep a wink. I didn't sleep a wink. I was so excited. I was laying there on this little tiny futon looking. Remember the old futons they used to sell in Walmart that was like two cushions just stacked on top of each other? There's a round pillow, you just, plopped them out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was sleeping on, right by the window, listening to this all night long, and couldn't wait to get out there the next morning. I was dunsies. I was dunsies. So as far as fly fishing is concerned, what is your all-time favorite trout fly?
Oh, I'm going to have to go with the Lewis Brown, named after my dad, on the White River. He showed up there staying at Copper John's right there down the river from the state park, right at the Bull Shoals Dam, just down from the state park.
Not far at all.
And he had a brown little fly, and he took it in there to see if they could make some more and for him, and they made it. And then they started trying it, and they're like, "Hey, this thing works really good. We're going to start selling it in our store. We'll just call it the Lewis Brown if that's okay with you." And he's like, "Yeah, I don't mind. Go ahead." So I guess that would be my favorite trout fly.
See, you've got a cooler story than me. You've got a cooler story than me. Mine is going to be the corniest option, the most simple, stupid option of all the trout flies. And you're probably going to throw a penalty flag on whether I'm a real trout angler, even when I say it. But I was going to get my wife into fly fishing, and we hadn't been together that terribly long. And
let's get some guesses in the comments. What lure he is going to come out in the comments.
If some folks have seen my some of my videos, they would have seen me tie one. Although it's probably an old, obscure video at this point in the channel. It's one of the tips, tricks videos, which nobody seems to watch. Anyway, but so I take her to this place, Unicoi Outfitters, Helen, Georgia, on the Chattahoochee River, because I've tried to teach her how to fly fish at this point. And for whatever reason, what I was laying down, she wasn't picking up. Something we need professional intervention at this point. So I took her to, at the time they called the guides there, they had this cool framed picture of all of them on the wall, standing looking all tough. It was called the Liars Club. I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, that's right.
And they had what they call a Gilligan's tour, because it's 4 hours. You get 1 hour of instruction and 3 hours on the river fishing. I'm thinking, you know what? I was out there for a friend's wedding. We're going to take a little detour up there to the river, get her some instruction, go fishing, have a great time. And the guide introduced me to this worm, and it was so simple, stupid, and all the damn thing did was catch. And it's caught everywhere I've ever fished. And it's embarrassing. And it's the chamois worm.
Hey, it catches fish, right?
I mean, yeah.
That's what you're trying to do.
I mean, I wouldn't even call it tying a fly, because it's really not.
Yeah.
But I get to say, look at me, I can tie a fly. Yeah, okay.
I don't tie flies at all. I've never tried.
I leave it up to the professionals generally.
Yeah.
Unless it's a freaking egg, or if it's a chamois worm, if it's something and just incredibly simple and stupid, I can do it. Other than that, no, it's for folks with real talent.
Right.
I'll do other things. I'll do skirt layering all day long. I'll do stuff like that, but no. When it comes to flies, I'm out. I've got no idea what the hell I'm doing. But it's caught everywhere. And I guess my second favorite was at that little trout place I was describing to you, telling the story. They had some guy locally that did one of the most gorgeous mayflies I have ever seen in my life. And at the time,
mayflies are not fun
well, this one
when you're fishing and they're
was
swarming
damn
you.
near this one was damn near cheating because that like tubular like plastic body, hollow body they have that catches air now. Have you seen that? You know that stuff?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. I wish I could get one out. I have no idea where the hell it'd be. First, the most realistic mayfly you have ever seen because the body on it is identical.
Really?
And it's got just a couple strands of hair out the back to look like that perfect tail with a little
Yeah.
split in the back. And it was a tubular plastic body that just held air. And so you didn't have to worry about it getting waterlogged. I mean, it stayed up all freaking day. You know, no dry out chemical on it or a stick at all, wax stick. No, it stayed up
Yeah.
all freaking day. And it was so realistic that it didn't matter if that was the pattern or not. I mean, what trout is going to ever turn down a mayfly?
Right.
I don't know a trout that's going to get out their calendar and be like, oh, no, that shit's got to be fake. You know, they're just going to sit there and smack it anyway. So, and they did. They did.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't tell you, out of season, didn't matter whether it's fall, super spring, well before the mayfly hatch, didn't matter. Dead of winter, trout always saw it and they always wanted to hit it. And so, you know, that had to be my second favorite, but I can't tie one of those. So
I'm gonna have to tell my dad he's up in Branson, Missouri right now, so he can do some fly fishing. He went yesterday and had one bite and didn't land it, and so maybe that's what we need to get.
So yeah, if he's up there at Branson, he's up there what, closer to Shoals and White, right?
Yeah, he's gonna go fishing in Branson right there at the fish hatchery at the release where they're stacked up waiting for you.
I got you.
Yep.
If he's never checked out Roaring Rivers,
I'd have to ask him. They have camper and they go all over the place and they camp.
Oh gosh, they love.
I'm sure they probably tried it and
yeah, it's
North Fork. I know White River. I'd have to ask and see if he's been to that one exactly, but most likely he has. One of my
hey, real quick, Justin, Mr. Fishhook, folks, hello. Want to welcome y'all in. One of the other favorite. There's a chance you've seen this one then. Before I get too far off on trout here again, you hit one of my other guilty pleasures. The original cheese worm. Before Berkeley had them, before Lucky Strike had them, before everybody and their dog had a cheese worm, a trout worm. Born out of the Ozarks, there is a place called Lucky Lady. A lady used to pour them in her garage. And I've done a video on those here on the channel as well in my trout playlist. And imagine a California soft pour, but about that long, domed on top, flat bottom.
For trout.
And either a poured different color to the back or a painted back. And I wish I had some of those. They are freaking supple. I mean, just wiggly. And what I do is I take like a number 10 or a 12 and I stick it right in the center like a wacky hook, but I bury it all the way up to the eye and the knot, kind of just underneath the skin, and just put a couple split shot above it and let it just kind of bump down the river and just sit there and give it that wacky. They can't stand it. And no matter how many you catch on one color, if you get to where they stop hitting it, all you have to do is change colors, and I swear,
fire right back up.
Right back up. I mean, there have been days I've caught 10, 15 on one color, another one, 10, 15 again, and just sat there the whole damn day, just ripping them out on every color. And they still make them this day. She has passed the business down to her son. They're still great. They're only available, like you can find them on eBay. You can find them in some of the bait shops up there. But the first place I ever laid eyes on those was at Roaring Rivers, Missouri, and then didn't see them again for many, many years. Till the wife and I went on a river trip somewhere else, and just so happened to, she went to this tag off shop. She goes, "I'm going to go see if there's anything you're interested in." And she brings out these trout worms. She goes, "I've never seen these. These are cool." I'm like, "Holy hell!
We're going back in there and buying the rest of them."
Exactly what I did. They had them on clearance because they weren't exactly popular where they were at there.
Yeah.
And she goes, "They're all cheap. They're like $1 a pack." I'm like, "Get in there, buy the whole damn store out. I want every freaking one of them." And sure as heck, one of the cards had their phone number on the back. So I called them up and said, "Y'all still in business?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I want a whole card of everything."
Yeah.
And I have a big bin, like a 40-gallon bin, stocked with cards of Lucky Ladies. Awesome. And some of their colors, their colors just went on for just years, all the different combinations. Red stripe on a white body, white stripe on a red body. One called John Deere, right? Green, yellow stripe.
Yellow. Yeah.
Catapwa, green with a black stripe. Just cheese, just a straight kind of a cheese yellow. Just everything. Like literally, I would probably say in their height, 200 colors.
Wow.
And she kept up with all these and poured them out of her own freaking garage.
Man, that's tough.
And, it was insane. Yeah. Anyway.
It's like Rattle Trap.
I was talking to somebody the other day on Rattle Trap. Of course, everybody's familiar with Rayburn Red. But I don't think folks know that Rayburn Red wasn't the first red to catch fire. There was one
Red
year
Bones?
prior.
Red Bones?
Fork Red.
Really?
There was a Fork Red. Fork Red was the first red. It lasted a season and a half. And I remember as a kid when it very first started making its way across the South, we went into our Walmart one day on a Sunday, and there was a line out the door that wound into the fishing department. And they weren't even getting them on the pegs. They had these shopping carts, and they were just handing them straight in the shopping cart. Everybody was allowed 2 apiece.
Here's your 2.
And they would recycle carts out from the back, bring them in, 2 more, and just hand them out. I'm like, what in the hell is that? So at that point, I'm like, I'm getting this line. We'll find
we're getting line. These people probably know what they're doing.
Yeah, obviously a million people can't be wrong. So I jump in there. They hand me these 2 lipless baits. I'm like, 2 1/4-ounce Fork Reds. I wish to hell I still had them. I guarantee you they're gone a long time ago. Oh, the money I could make off those things on eBay. Actually, I just framed one of them in a shadow box, to be honest with you. But what happened was the next year they come out with Rayburn Red. And Fork Red was popular till about mid-season the next year, and then it was never heard from again. And Rayburn Red took off and went on from there. And I'm going to have a bit of a trivia question in the chat.
Okay, good. Not for me. I don't want to.
I
don't want to be embarrassed.
Well, may know this one. There was a lot of baits are evolutionary. One bait occurs, it turns into another one, turns into another one. Now the iteration of it that we have today is what it is now. Let me put the link back in here too if somebody else wants to pop on here.
But I started getting so when I started bass fishing after learning tournaments and all that, that was like 07, 08, somewhere in there. So not that long ago. And at the time, the rattle traps came in a little plastic like box.
Yes.
That you could use to store weights in and stuff after you. So
yep.
I was recycling those little things. Now they're all in plastic, cheaper and
oh man. See,
easier to hang up and all that. But yeah, I remember I used to buy them, and then I'd have my weights in there for drop shot, and I would just so I could carry them all together. It was
See, at my home lake, there was a little marina that had a restaurant, and their tackle store was like an end cap, like well, not an end cap, like a little 4-way. And every time I went in there, although I had one from the previous trip, and I went to my home lake all the deadgum time, I still bought the same thing every time I went in there: 1/4 ounce Tennessee shad rattle trap. Every damn time. I threw that thing almost exclusively. But man, caught so many fish on the thing. I force fed that damn bait to the fish. Like I would sit there in the same spot and just chunk of one and chunk of one. And I swear sometimes they hit it because they're like, well, you shut that thing the hell up. And they would hit it just out of like, make the racket stop. And then, of course, to their dismay, here it comes again and again. Yeah. Now I've caught one after the 3,000th cast. I'm pepped up again. But on these evolutionary baits, now we have the Senko, the standard sitter, 5-inch Senko. Before the Senko, there was the first soft plastic jerkbait. You know what it was?
That's for you in the comments, y'all.
Let's see if somebody in the comments knows, and we'll give it here. Hey, Youper. Pardon me. Let's see here. Oh, Cajun Rob's up in here.
He knows. He says, I know.
Oh, hey, tell us, Cajun. What was it? What was it before? Whoa, there we go.
Oh.
There we go. Sluggo. Now this is going to be for the proverbial 500, Alex. We're going to the top. The Sluggo was the precursor, absolutely, to the Senko. However, everybody thinks the Sluggo was the granddaddy. There was one before. Extra points. For who can tell me?
The Ocho.
Okay. You know, no. See, that was back when Strike King knew how to stay in their damn lane. They were only spinnerbaits. They were 38 specials at the time.
Yeah.
But there was one that looked a lot. I'll give a hint. It looked a lot like the Sluggo. There was one difference. One difference between the Sluggo and this other bait. It will absolutely shock people to know that Sluggo was a ripoff. It was the second, when I say ripoff, like everything else, you know what I mean? It was the second version. Boy, I'm seeing crickets and tumbleweeds in the chat. There was a bait that looked almost identical to it. The only difference, I'm sure it's what got them there. Oh, no. No.
The Zoom Hush Puppy.
Nope. Nope. There was, imagine a Sluggo, but up on the top, flat part of the head, there was a scooped out area for one of the round rattles. You popped one of the little round rattles into, round plastic rattles. It was called the Chatterbox.
Really?
And it was at a company out of Texas called Jaw Tech, who recently made a comeback, and they're already out again. The son took over. Bruce Benedict was the guy's name that used to run Jaw Tech. They had a pocket crawl, which was a little standard old crawl worm with the two claws, and each claw had one of those pockets in it too for one of the round rattles. So it floated up good there and rattled. They had an incredible, goofy looking wacky worm that had big bulbous balls on either end and kind of tapered down to a ball in the middle.
Yeah.
All kinds of wacky baits for then, but they caught. They also had their version of a bubble fry, which was freaking huge. And a lot of theirs have made kind of resurfaced. But what happened is Bruce kind of got screwed over. The story he's told, allegedly, that by Walmart, they had made a big deal with Walmart to put a bunch in their stores.
Nice.
And they wanted a certain price for him. So, but he had to go out and get the inventory built up first. He goes out, spends all the money on getting the inventory built up. Then they come back and they're like, you know what? On second thought, we want that price to be a S-ton lower. And he's like, but I'm not even going to make my money back. And they're like, deal or no deal. And so he's like, you know what? No deal.
Wow.
But it knocked him out of business. And he ended up with a garage and a couple of storage, facilities full of these baits. And I tried to gain access to them for a long time. One day on one of these shows, I will bust out and show everybody what that chatterbox looks like, because somewhere I have some. I got to find the damn things. Not the best colors anymore, but I have them.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say I end up with like actually it's not that bad of a color now. I want to say somewhere there was a straight hot pink, and I may have a jet black somewhere, or maybe just a straight chartreuse.
Yeah.
But back then, though, they had colors that were very similar to Sluggos, like the Arkansas Shiner was one of my favorite ones, like a Tennessee Shad, that kind of thing. I was always a sucker for those kind of green and kind of olive back colors, Shiner and Shad colors. So, but yeah, that was the best one back then.
Now you brought this up earlier.
Oh, yes.
And I had to go run and get it. I don't know if y'all can see it, but that's a custom.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's got my name on there. It says Bob and Kaylee. We gave it out at my wedding.
Oh, no kidding, huh?
You can call Mets, and they do custom spinners for you. It's pretty cool. My aunt works there, so that's how I found out about it. But they do a lot of. I went up there and got to tour it a couple of years ago, and they have notebooks of celebrities and stuff that order spinners and hand them out as like little gifts at their shows and whatnot. It's kind of neat that they have
that. That is cool. Didn't a few years back they finally get under the same roof as Mr. Twister? Am I remembering right?
Yes, I think they're. I don't know who owns who. I think Maps owns Mr. Twister.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah, they did.
I always loved the Sassy Shad's one of my favorites. And like Paddletail Grubs, I mean, they were it.
Mm-hmm.
You living up north, being up north, man, especially Wisconsin, dabble in some freaking Paddletail Grubs, right?
No, just this. It was this. This was
Dave Winkleman would be proud.
That was it. Snoopy pole to Zebco pole to spinning rod. Straight floating 5. See,
I got a story about one of them too. And actually, the same barge that I caught my first fish on lure on, that big old white bass. A guy that run the place used to go out there at night and fish along one arm of it underneath the light and throw. I want to say it was the number 5 in the black, the chrome and black.
Yep.
That get all foiled. And
I was trying to find that one. I could not find it, so I grabbed the blue one.
Hey, blue, gold, and black. That was it. Those were the 3 colors, right? Before everything has 1,000 colors and sizes and iterations. And he used to throw that black one, pitch it right along the walkway and swim it back. And he would catch white bass right and left. I would go out there and try it. And I would see him come up and look at it and turn and go back. I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? And I couldn't catch him on to save my damn life. But yet he would go out there and come back in with 5 or 6. And I'd be like, you prick.
Yeah,
I just never could.
Sheldon owns Meps and Mr. Twister.
Man, that's right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, Rob gonna know. Rob knows a little bit about that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? Mr. Towhead's in the house. Thank you. We're going to have to get you on here too. We're going to pry you on here tonight, brother. But yeah, and I lost what would have been my personal best smallmouth on our Apollo on a countdown.
Oh.
And My wife and I were fishing the river, low water bridge, low water crossing rather, and I'm out there waiting, and I'm throwing behind this big boulder, trying to get this perfect angle. Because I know that there's a lot of water washed, a lot of gravel washed underneath it. And I'm trying to get that bait to swing underneath it, twitch it back. I just knew there was going to be a fish there. Tried it, 1,000 times to get the right angle. Finally got the drift just right. I'm like, okay. Sure enough, comes up, boom. Then she starts hauling ass at me. Keep in mind, she's upriver. So this is a smallmouth, sizable. She's 5.5, 6 pounds, hauling ass at me at 100 miles an hour with the stream. I'm sitting there, and I swear my spin reel's about to seize up. I'm reeling that thing so fast, trying to pick up line. She gets right to my feet, slams on the brake like a Pinto in traffic, looks up at me, and when she does, I see she has that bait by the back, and the trouble's aimed out away from her.
Oh, no.
Not a one of them, and I'm like, are you shitting me? And then she just looks up and like, oh, want this back? Spits it out. Looks up at me again, goes to swim off, stops, turns around, looks at me again, and then just goes off. I drop an F-bomb that I guarantee you they heard for 10 square miles. I mean, I about threw my rod like a javelin. I was livid. Man. And she just sat there and swam off, and I was like, you know what? Screw this. I looked at the wife and said, I'm done. I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
She broke your spirit.
Yep. We patched up right then and left. I'm like, no, screw this. I'm out of it. No, I can't look at this crap again. But yeah, those were the days. That was my flirt with Rapala. And there was a time where if the shad were super small, there was one bite on a local lake that every freaking fall, right after the hatch, they would key on the smallest of shad. And they were keyed in so just dead on that if you didn't throw that same size, forget it. I mean, and then you were throwing it into.
Isn't it wild that
that
can just a color change sometimes, or the size like that can make all the difference?
Absolutely.
Then you start wondering, how do we even catch fish?
Yeah.
Now we're using I don't have one here, but now we're using a kid's toy, a bouncy ball with a tentacle sticking off of it. That's what they're eating. I don't know.
I did not have that on my bingo card. That design, I did not have it on my bingo card. When I first saw it come in, I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit. I think that like the first person I heard to call him out and say, no, this ain't gonna work was Stefan. And then I think I cautioned him in the comment section going, I don't believe it either, but
let's give it a chance.
With all the weird stuff, you never know. And I didn't want to be the one guy to just say, nah, then it worked. But I'm not about to tell him it did work. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to tap the brakes because I'm not about to assign my name to that. And sure as hell, it blows up like it does. Now everybody on every street corner is
now we'll see. I have one. And I'm going to try. I don't have forward-facing sonar. I don't. So I'm just going to be on a pond.
Oh.
And I'm going to be throwing it around. And if it works, it'll catch them.
What's up, brothers?
Hey, bringing in Mr. Rob. How you doing, Cajun?
Oh man, just trying to survive the storm, man. I'm like Oreo Speedwagon back today. I'm riding the storm out. Just kind of settled back down.
Are you over in Louisiana or?
No, I'm actually in Kentucky now. I'm south of Lexington. So
okay.
I fished a tournament day, and it blew like 25, 30 miles an hour all afternoon. So I knew something was coming.
Oh, man.
That storm came through here, Fort Worth, last night between 3 and 5 a.m.
Dang. Heard you guys still in a drought down there, ain't you?
Yeah, we haven't had much rain this year at all. At all. It's been.
Yeah, we ain't had much up here either.
Pretty wild.
Lakes are all low, and fish are in the funk. They ain't even made the move to spawn yet. they was all scattered out there on the main lake. It's crazy.
Wow. That's rough. That's real rough. I can't imagine it at this point. Man,
You're
but
further up north than us, though. Fort
A bit.
Worth. What was the water temp?
63
Yeah.
and full moon. Moon was
Yeah,
bright as it could be.
Should be
Yeah,
moving up, right?
Yeah, and the shad's not balled up. Shad's scattered.
Hmm.
It's just way behind. I don't know. It's just been a weird year up here.
man, well, and you still find those staging big girls. That'll be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We found one. And that was about it. And got some dinks. So
How'd you finish?
We just had 2 fish. We caught a bunch of shorts. My buddy caught a nice one on the A rig, and I caught one drop shotting. But I said it screamed out spinner bait, chatter bait, crank.
Drop shotting?
Yeah. I
My
said drag.
specialty.
That's the only thing I get bit on. I'm like,
Me too.
it's like,
What
I don't
color?
want to do it, but I gotta get bit.
What color were you throwing?
Green pumpkin, 4.5, small one.
Oh, you do small.
Well, usually I don't. I did the 6-inch morning dawn.
Yeah,
And I got a little pickup or two, little bluegill bites. But I was like, okay, I'm downsizing and start getting bit. So it's all good.
I got
Still
some
got
of
on
the
the water.
foxtail ones I'm going to try.
Yep.
Have you seen those where they put the
Oh, yeah.
foxtail infused into they're a little 4-inch, but usually I am the trick worm, the big
Yep.
6-inch, 6.5-inch, whatever it is. But
Oh,
I'm going to try some of those smaller ones and see if that does anything.
Absolutely.
you got me wondering now. I'm about to address a bait. Somebody mentioned that we're in the chat here in a second too. But on the foxtail, Amakatsu made what they called a hairy chunk back before they were ever in the U.S., had anything in the U.S. And I got them imported. And they were like a big craw, almost like a Loganista style prawn or craw.
Mm-hmm.
And it had a bunch of that real sharp tail out the nose of it. So it had, maybe, was it just out? I think it was just out the nose. I want to say it had 2 claws and then that big.
A beard?
Yeah. It was odd. And I remember one of my buddies looking at it going, I'll never forget him. He goes, I will kiss your ass if anything hits that. And I'm like, you know what? Screw you. Because at that point, I'd spent so much money on it that I'm like, it better. And did I catch anything on it? No. But I mean, it was enough to catch a fisherman. But over here in the chat,
yeah, that's what all those lure companies are doing. They're catching fishermen. They're not in the catching fish business. We got to figure that out on our side.
but sometimes it all looks good.
It is.
Yeah, that's why I have so much of it.
You know, I mean, my gosh. So Super Towhead says, what about the Porco? What did y'all catch your personal best on?
Frog.
Really? Okay.
8-12.
You, Bob?
I've got 3 6/8s, one on a drop shot right before a hurricane was supposed to come through Alexandria. And so they closed our school. So I ran out to the lake before, and then it ended up staying out over in Texas and then cutting across up north of us. But so I think the pressure was right for that. A Zoom brush hog, baby brush hog at about 11:30 at night, throwing off the end of my pier and just pulling it back. Tunk. And then a biffle bug, green pumpkin, was flipping, went to go flip this lay down, stretch of lay downs, and didn't get anything. And I was like, all right, well, let me go up to the point here. There's some bushes. It's kind of shallow, and there's some bushes. It's on Rayburn. So let me go up to that point. And while I'm in between, before I get up there, I'm like, well, I might as well have a bait out in the water. I just throw it out on the deep side of the deal. And I'm just trolling. All of a sudden, I just noticed that my line is like tailing way out there. I set it, and it was another 6.5, and
Nice.
3 of them. But
Man.
that's as big as I've gotten.
I wish somebody would have told me that double digits didn't happen every day when I was a kid. I was 16, and it was an old school Stanley casting jig, the pumpkin with the red fire tip skirt, and then a black blue Uncle Josh pork trailer.
Yep.
Ugly combo, and the sit up on it. The cast I had to make for this thing was a pain in the ever loving ass. Multi-stall boat dock. What would be the first stall on the right-hand side walking down was not there, was not covered. There was a full line on the left, and then there was a full line minus one on the right. But parked there where that first slot would be was this old beat up homemade pontoon boat. It sat there forever. And I knew on this certain part of the walkway, underneath this certain part of the walkway there was like a little, not really a creek channel, more like a ditch that ran underneath there where it dropped off and then popped back up before it dropped off again to go into the rest of the boat dock. And that little ditch was right under where this pontoon was sitting. I mean, if I could it was right there towards the spawn. I mean, if I could just get that freaking jig underneath where that damn eyesore of a homemade pontoon was. The thing had vines and shit growing on it. I knew if I could get up underneath it,
Was that part of the homemade part, the vines, or was that
makes me wonder?
It sat there that long.
It had been
That's
there.
what held it together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Probably that and baling wire. Mm-hmm. I mean, it had sat there old enough or long enough next to the dock that all the vines that grew up the side of not only the middle, but the old styrofoam on the side of the docks, it kind of reached over and grown onto it and crawled up that damn thing. And so I knew if I could just make that casting underneath it, but it stuck out past the end of the boat dock a little bit. So what I had to do was I had to walk back up on the bank and throw over like the very back end of the roof of it because it had one of those big permanent roofs on the top. Flop the line over the anchor light and get it kind of behind it, and then walk back down the walkway and pull it back up diagonal underneath the thing. It only took about 100 tries to get it right. And finally it did. And I mean, I worked that bait so damn slow because I thought I might not hit this son of a bitch again. I got to milk this cast for all it's worth. I'm creeping it. And I had Matt Robertson would be happy only for this one part of anything that I've ever said in my life was the rod I was using. 5.5 foot BCL 1100 ugly stick, pistol grip, 5.5 foot with an Abu Garcia 521 XLT plus. It was before its time. It only had the centrifugal brake. It had the magnetic brake. You could switch spools on it. Had a flipping switch. I mean, the thing was state of its art. And we're talking like 1984, 1985 when this thing was out.
Wow.
Like you pay for that like in a freaking Corrado today. And that thing was out then. A little bit bulkier, sure as hell heavier, but still had the stamp on the real seat for that original kick-ass Garcia warranty. You know how they used to have all the money funneled back for the lifetime warranty on them? Had that, got that used one time. Anyway, it was kick-ass, ready to go. I made that cast, brought it back, arm straightened out on the thunk. I mean, I remember looking at my mother going, "Can you get the net?" And she's like, "Well," I'm like, "Get the net." And then I set the hook and all hell broke loose. This fish was digging, it was about 6 foot deep. She was digging the bottom, trying to get the jig yanked out of her mouth. Like rooting, you could see mud churning up to the surface.
Dang.
I mean, I'm in some deep shit here. And finally got her up, got her netted, and embarrassing. I was waiting for the marina around the corner to open so I could get her officially weighed. I put her on a stringer. I was a kid. I'm sorry. And I put her on a stringer, got her over there, got her weighed, then got her taken back. But as far as I know, she was okay. But it was bad. It was 11 3/4.
Dang.
Now, while I'm sitting there waiting, the funniest part's while I'm sitting there waiting, there was a tournament going on in the water, and some guy come in the cove, and everywhere I'd walk up and down, he would flip into whatever stall we were in. And I was like, I would be fishing for crappie, jigging or slip bob or whatever, and he would come throw right on top of me. I'd move down another one right on top of me. I'm like, gosh. Finally, I'm like, dude, I think I got the one you're looking for. He sees him a kid. He's like, what, catfish? No, bass. Let me see it. I go down. I pull this big old girl out in the stringer, haul her up. He yells out, me. Goes down, slams his rod in the bottom of the boat, looks at his co-angler and says, buckle up, we're moving. Dude looks at me, looks at him, looks at me, zip, life jacket, and immediately grabs the old shit bar. And that he plops down behind the wheel, and they get on plane before they're around the deadgum dock. Screw the no wake buoy. They were nowhere near the no wake buoy.
Mm.
They got on plane and just flew out of there. My mother's down there snickering. She just thought it was the funniest thing she ever saw. And he was apparently that was the fish he was looking for. Of course, who wouldn't be? But I forget who he said he was. He was somebody that had like a local fishing show at the time, Buddy or something. I forget. It was a long time. But he would come in there, don't you know who I am syndrome and all this other. And there he showed up by a 16-year-old kid and completely lost his shit. Let's see here. TJ, let's see, kid. Creek chub, yes. Oh, my goodness. Creek chub, another old school one. As far as your favorite old school bait that isn't a Rapala, Bob, and for you, Cajun, just one of your other old school memories.
Yep, got it here. It ain't the original one, but it's close. I was probably about 10 or 12. My granddad had a pond, and it didn't have a lot of fish in it. And I had I think it's Zepco 33, and I had this topwater lure, and I was like, I'll try it out. What the heck? I pop, got it right to like the bank, and I was pulling it up, and this 5-pounder just inhaled it. Scared me to death. Rebel jointed bass color. That's it. Not the same exact lure, but same pattern, same.
Yeah.
Yep. So that got me hooked, and here I am in the fishing industry. Like 50 years later. So here I am.
Oh, let's get him on to find his, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Red Milk Fishing.
I got like 10 minutes, but I can join in for a second.
Got you on a break, literally, huh?
Yeah.
Well, man, good to see you. Man, so tell us, what's your personal best come on, Red?
Probably sticks in Ottawa. I caught it off a chatterbait on I cannot think of the trailer. It was a chartreuse though.
Well, sometimes I gotta check myself and remember that old school baits to us old codgers are different than to you young pups.
Well, that's what I was going to say. When you asked what's another old school bait for me, I'm like, my fishing started in 2006, 2007, really. So that's not that old school.
Well, yeah, I guess you get a pass for that one, man. Just make me and Rob feel old. I see how it is.
Well, back in the early 80s, I was on this, but then I had quit for 20 years and didn't start back up. So
heretic. I just can't imagine quitting fishing.
It was boring just sitting there. Right now I can go out all day long and cast and not ever get a bite and just have the best day of my life and just think this is great. But we were catching fish, trolling. I just sitting there is just not fishing for me. So people that go catfishing and tight lining and that, like, good for them. I just can't. I can't do that.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, I gotta be moving. I gotta be moving. So,
yeah.
See, I get it. Some of my greatest memories though were like out myself on the bank, tight lining for cats in the middle of the night, just me and the stars and the frogs and the crickets and finning off water moccasins and hoping I don't get bit.
Snapping turtles.
Yes, freaking out every time I see little
gators.
Like, damn it! I got a lot of human here. Go away.
Them glowing red eyes at night. Them gators.
Yep. Oh man,
we don't got to deal with those up here.
Yeah, that's right. Way up north.
Where are you at, Red?
Iowa.
Oh yeah, they don't
Northwest Iowa. No.
Man, well, it's what is that? It's weird. I'm seeing something that I don't normally. There we go. Sorry, something on my screen was bugging me there. Yeah, so Red, if you had one bait year round that you just got the most confidence in, that it would be hard for you not to throw every time out, what would it be?
What are those? They're the 13 fishing crankbaits. I cannot think of the name of them right now.
Jabberjaw? Jabberjaw?
Jabberjaw, yes. It's the yellow and black one. That is my go-to. Yeah.
Good little bait.
Yeah,
dude, I've slammed so many fish on that. It's not even funny.
Oh.
My dad texted yes to Roaring River and Bennett Springs.
Both, huh? Bennett too.
Well,
yeah.
Well, there you go.
There's a body cam channel called Arrest Cam. I want to say Arrest Cam Fish and Wildlife that does body cam just based around wildlife violations, and they've been to both Roaring Rivers and Bennett Springs and busted people at the trout limit and whatnot and sharing fish and that kind of thing. And I swear one of them at Roaring Rivers looked like it was damn opening day. I mean, the place was packed shoulder to shoulder. I'm like, if there's one time you're not going to be able to miss a game warden,
right?
Like opening day at either Bennett Springs or Roaring Rivers, like your ass is going to get caught. But they're sitting there sharing fish. I'm just sitting there going, wrong, man.
Busted.
DT, I probably got time for one more question.
Let's see here. Let's see, Mikey. You said what we got you here. What are we thinking? What is the first lure, young man, that you ever gained confidence in?
Curly tail. All white curly tail.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with that. It's a catch-all. It'll catch anything.
Mm-hmm.
Bass, crappie, anything. It'll catch them.
Yeah. I would say that would be my first, probably.
Good choice.
Man, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. How about you, gentlemen? First, but y'all got good confidence in them. I guess it's probably going to be Rapala.
Yeah, I don't need to say.
Yeah. How about you, Rob?
Jig, early often, and no jig.
Oh gosh, almighty! I wasn't a jig person really until I I was too young and dumb not to throw it, which was a good thing. Then I lost confidence in it as I got older.
I kept watching Denny Brower like pull all these big ones in. I said, I gotta figure this out. So, I'll tell you how old I am.
Hey.
90s.
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah. See, man, yeah. Oh, I was a kid in that. Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I remember when the tube was called a Gets It.
Yep.
That's what my dad calls it. He's like, when we go up fishing in Wisconsin in the river, he's like, I'm gonna bring my Gets It. Like, no, Gets It. It's Gets It. I was like, okay. Bring them.
All right, fellas, I gotta head out, but let me know when you guys do another live. I'll be on.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah. Good young man there, I tell you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think my PB smallmouth, I believe, I can't remember when I was little how big they were, but of me knowing what I was fishing was on a jig head with a white curly-tailed grub.
See.
Yep, and Hank Cherry just won Gunnersville Elite not long ago on a grub that. So they're still around.
That's right.
We sell a ton of Caitlin's grubs. Caitlin's grubs are still hot.
Oh yeah. Nothing wrong with the Kalins. I mean, what got me about that was all the pros dogging him out on it. All the shit talk.
Yeah, there's some little old men co-anglers I know. That's all they throw. They show up co-angling. They got a little thing of grubs, a couple spinning rods, and that's all they got. And then they grind it out.
How can you shit talk a curly tail grub?
I don't know.
Because they're using
blows my dead good mind. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Granted, I used them growing up for as one of the two baits I would throw on like a double bait rig.
Yep.
Fishing points for white bass. You know,
I put on back a spinner bait for a trailer. That's how I used them.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember back when the only plastic trailer was the one that come with the Strike King spinner baits, just that old split tail.
I remember back in Mississippi, we had man's worms and that old spinner bait. Snagless Sally. We had Snagless Sally, man's worm. That's all we had. So made it work.
Is it a snafu on me for I catch way more fish on a spinner bait without a trailer at all? Just straight spinner bait? Or I mean, I don't know. I put a trailer on there. I just see I don't get the bites.
Well, I put on a trailer, it keeps it up. It keeps it up in the water. If you got like fish, it helps keep it up. And when you're trying to skip it, it helps. So, I mean, 50-50. 50 with, 50 without. So it just depends.
Oh. Well,
it is kind of interesting that Jason Christie at the Classic come out with a spinnerbait trailer. I thought that's kind of interesting. he just won a tournament. He was last in the first tournament and then won. So he went to last.
Every time he finishes last, he wins the next one.
Yeah, that blows my mind.
And his wife can't come or something.
Yeah,
I saw him make a post or a statement. So like on the next when they're fishing, I guess up near him next, I guess up there on the Arkansas River. No, where are they going? I don't know, somewhere. But he said I got to sneak out of there, and she can't come with me.
So we guess we got somebody a little drama, a little heat over here in the over here in the comments. Hey, Steve, you want to pop on?
Same way you can talk to someone for having a different opinion.
Oh, if he wants to pop on and explain, he can. But it is what it is. All I gotta say is if my intro to this live offended somebody, it says more about them than about me.
I don't know. I prefer to focus on the positive in fishing and not the.
I agree.
Well, who's got time for all that now? I get we're suckers for it, but like there is so much good stuff. Like seeing a kid get their first bite,
oh my
catch
God,
their first fish. Like, is there anything better? I mean,
yeah. Like I'll be driving home from work, and there'll be a little farm pond. There's a kid out there fishing farm pond. I'm like,
oh yes, you're like that's
way to go, young man.
Yes,
good for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like. If you want to use forward-facing sonar, great. If you don't, great. Whatever. Go catch fish.
Everybody's different. Everybody's different.
Right.
So, hey, hats off to them.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's amazing to me because whether it's like kids at like the Bass Pro events or at the Classic or wherever where you're fishing the stock trout or catfish ponds, you know,
my kids love it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's some of the best stuff in the world. I absolutely freaking love it. Here, I'm going to go ahead and just in case. Here, somebody else wants to.
Yeah, I see. Super Toe is still
Yep,
throwing them OG gets it.
yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, and that's another bait I had to have every color of whenever they started coming out with just a ass ton of different um
Mm-hmm.
color tubes.
Yep.
And that was back before green pumpkin was a thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
back when they were
smoke purple or whatever, or smoke, and yeah, I remember those.
yeah, it's always black
I used to get
blue or
punched
black
on that.
red,
Golly.
black chartreuse, black anything. Um, there wasn't green pumpkin, but they did have pumpkin now and then. I want to say they had like a pumpkin orange, pumpkin red, pumpkin blue.
Are lizards done?
What was that? You broke up a little bit.
Are lizards done?
Oh gosh, not with me.
I mean, I used to catch the snot out of them with a lizard, and you got too much other stuff to choose from now. You just forget about them, I guess. You know,
they stay popular around the spawn. Seem like spawn, you see a lot of them. A lot of guys use them. They'll just use them around the spawn, try to run them through the nest. But
yeah,
I mean, you'll see some old guys still Carolina rigging them, the pumpkin chartreuse lizards. I mean, but the prime time still around the spawn seems like. But Zoom still sells a ton of them. Zoom still sells a ton of them.
You know, my favorite one was, there were two. There was a Berkeley one that was, I'm drawing a blank now. I'm getting confused as to who made it.
Yeah, there's one that had ribs. There's one that had ribs or something. I remember those.
Well, the one that had that kind of flat belly, was that Mr. Twister or is that Berkeley?
Mr. Twister, I think.
Yeah, that almost where it almost kind of glided down because it had that flat, extended like winged belly.
Yep.
And then there was a Berkeley one that was different than the others. Oh, it had the pointed back, the real ridged, almost triangular back. Didn't Berkeley have one that was like that?
Yep.
Those were my two favorite lizards. I mean, I fished the Zoom a lot, and I've caught fish on the Zoom, but not as much as I did Berkeley or not as much as I did Berkeley or the Mr. Twister one.
I got you.
Always in black blue or in pumpkin chartreuse for some reason.
Yeah. Pumpkin chartreuse is the old school color.
Yes, it is. That's what it's about, though. I mean, just who was it? The pocket phenom worms.
Yep. Yeah, Woo Daves. I remember Woo Daves was big on those way back in the day.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that he was.
Yep.
I forgot that he was. Just a second. The wife's wanting me to make a thermostat change here.
Oh.
Let me see here.
You got one Jim. Motor oil was the first great color after purple. Then pumpkin seed was a thing before green pumpkin.
Agreed. Yep.
Yes.
Spot on.
And then he said gill raker was another great lizard.
Yep.
Oh, come on. Now those things will give me problems. The second angle, I'm telling you.
But yeah, real quick, man. I know you was talking about Easter, man. Easter's like one of my favorite holidays. I mean, I got a lot of things to be thankful for. My beautiful wife has a birthday tomorrow on Easter, so we're going out. I said this young kid from South Mississippi, Louisiana, fished when I was 8 or 10. My granddad, we run trout lines, limb lines. Went out to Bay St. Louis, saltwater fish. That's where I got my love of fishing from. And now here it is. I said 50 years later, I'm in the fishing industry. So come a long way. Did a big circle. I'm blessed every day. But
yes, indeed.
But yeah, it's all good, man. But you get to meet a lot of great folks like you, CT, and you, Bob. I mean,
Yeah.
and it seems like it's a big industry, but really it's a small tight knit at the same time. It's kind of
Absolutely, it is.
Yep.
And I mean, it's nuts because with all the different bake companies now, for like I would be in trouble doing what you do for a living, Rob, because I would be absolutely just like, I had to be garnishing my wages or getting my hand on the cookie jar, because just no way I could be around that much tackle and just not go hog. But
it's tough at times.
I can imagine, because back in the early days, everybody kind of stayed in their lane, right?
Yeah.
Like Strike King wasn't making plastics. They weren't making bass jigs. They were making spinner baits. Stanley was making jigs. Mans was making plastics. That was it.
I see what calls on Mans. People wanting Mans baits. I was like, they closed up last summer. I'm surprised nobody's bought the name or the rights or anything. It's kind of faded away, which is sad, because that's one of the original companies for sure.
I'm going to do something here real quick, guys. One moment. I'm going to, if I can figure out how to do this, I'm going to, I thought I was going to.
No.
I needed to kind of just knock out the camera for one moment.
There he is. You paused it.
Yeah. It's just us. All right, let's now. Rob, it's the Rob and Bob show, y'all. Let's get
we got it, man. We got
started.
So are you down in Texas now?
South Fort Worth. I'm in Burleson. Yep.
Oh yeah, I got you. Like I said, I'm originally born and raised South Mississippi, South Louisiana, and kind of ended up in Knoxville for about 20-25 years, then ended up in Kentucky. That's far north as I'm going. This is it. So
I lived in Louisiana. I lived in Natchitoches for 5-6 years, and then down in Hammond for a year, and then Alexandria for 15.
Oh yeah,
no,
pretty area.
12 years, I don't know, something, but
Yep, I bounced around the Pearl River area on the Mississippi and Louisiana side.
Yeah.
So Pearl River is kind of my, I guess, stomping grounds, I guess you'd say, and it's changed.
Did you go to community college down there? I know Mississippi's big time. Community college.
Pearl River Community College, class of 90.
Where?
Pearl River Community College.
Yeah. So and I'm sure your daddy went there and your granddaddy, and it's kind of like a lineage thing in Mississippi.
And my uncle worked there. So
there you go. Yeah. So
but it's a good school, and
it's kind of neat to have that tradition. You're like, I'm not. This is where I'm going. I mean, everyone kind of knows this is where my family goes. Yeah. This is what I'm doing, and
it's like 20 miles away. I could just drive back and forth. So it's a good time. My mom and dad still live down there. I got a lot of relatives. My little brother lives down in Slidell, or works down in Slidell. So I still got a lot of connect. I'll try to get down there about once or twice a year. So it's constantly changing, though, man. It's all these cow pastures used to be in my hometown is now like big brick subdivisions. Yeah. Everybody from the coast to New Orleans after Katrina moved up. So we was in the first set of hills coming out of the coast. So everybody just kind of flocked there. So.
We are. Burleson used to be out in the country from DFW.
Yep.
And now it's all developed all the way down and through Burleson. And my buddy that graduated from Burleson High in 2000 came out and visited last year, and he was like, all these stores and stuff along the interstate here, he's like, it was nothing but cow pasture. And and now he's like, man, this doesn't even look the same. I was like,
like wild. One pops up and it's like boop 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 boop. Yeah. It's just like one, and then just floods, opens floodgates.
Definitely. So you said you got started in salt water.
Yeah, we got a little bit of salt water. Well, we was about 20-30 miles north of the coast, so Bay St. Louis wasn't that far. So my granddad.
How did you ever? When I lived in Louisiana, everyone was like, "Hey, you need to go down and go saltwater fishing because you own it. You'll stop bass fishing." And I'm like, "Well, then I'm not going down there because I don't want to, when I want to go fishing, I don't want to drive 3 hours every time. I want to drive 20 minutes to the Red River. I want to go, 40 minutes over to the Toledo Bend, or an hour and a half to Sam Rayburn or something. I don't want to.
Absolutely. I lived close to both, so I got to taste a little bit of both.
Yeah.
My granddad loved both, and
I got to go do my first red fishing last October with a buddy of mine over there. My cousin came down from Wisconsin. We went over to LSU, South Carolina football game, and we went red fishing that morning, and had a blast popping corks with shrimp underneath them.
Man, them things are strong. I mean, you think smallmouth strong? Them things are just on another level.
Yeah, kind of reminded me. I think silver salmon up in Alaska are kind of similar.
Yep.
They get it and they run with it, and it's just you're
unreal. Hoping
to turn them and get them back coming to you. So.
Yeah, we've kind of opened up into the ice fishing market, and that's been a learning experience for me. I'm a kid from Mississippi. I don't know about ice fishing, so that is religion. Yeah, that is religion up there. I did not know.
My dad used to take my brother and I out, and we didn't do much fishing. He did.
Yeah,
but we would just be running around on the ice and playing,
and
pulling each other on a sled, and just being kids, really. But we would go out there, and he'd sit around a hole or two and wait for something to bite.
Yeah, I mean, hats off, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I said it's
now my cousin, he's got. We would just go out, and my dad would auger a hole. Now, my cousin's got like a whole camper.
Yep.
That he drives out on the ice, and then he disengages the wheels from the frame somehow and rotates it, and the camper just sits down on the ice, and he's got little caps on the floor in there, and he can pop those out, drills holes. He's got his bed, satellite TV, bathroom,
jeez.
Yeah, and that's his ice fishing.
It's like an ice condo.
Oh, for sure.
Jeez.
For sure.
Yeah, there we go. So it's technical difficulties, man. My freaking Cameron Mike decides it wants to go schizo. I was trying to change positions, and everything's like, no, I'm gonna be a little wuss about it and flip out. So anyway, had to get it back up and running. But man, see, I'm telling you, gosh, freaking, I've always wanted to ice fish. Y'all are making me jealous hearing that.
I've not been yet. I sell ice fishing stuff, and I haven't been yet. So it's on my to-do list. Hopefully one day. Oh yeah.
I don't do cold anymore.
No,
I lived in Louisiana and Texas now way too long.
Imagine what
I don't like the cold. Like I'm in long sleeves. I had a hoodie on earlier. It was in the 50s and 60s today because we had that storm come through last night. But
yeah, I know Upper Wisconsin's got an ice and snowstorm. So my dealers, they said the schools closed like Friday, and I was like,
"Holy crap!
It's spring. It's Easter. What y'all doing?"
See, that's funny,
man. Speaking, let me ask you this. You may not be able to tell me, Rob, but when it comes to ice fishing, you get any? I don't know if they run with a distributor, but what is it? Is it Widowmaker?
Oh yeah. We distribute them. They make
some toys, man. They make some ice fishing toys.
Yep.
Just some good jigs and stuff in general. I love some of their stuff. How
about this? My cousin that does the ice fishing, he's got a portable live scope.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah, we've sold a lot of those. Batteries, accessories, all that stuff. Oh yeah.
But he's in in his camper thing that's now sitting down on, I guess he can see if there's any around, but they still have to come. Right? Ice fishing, you're just dropping straight down in a hole. They got to come to you. Yeah. You can't go to them. So he does it. He takes it. He says, I don't know. I've never been with him, but I plan to at some point. But
Oh, see,
I don't know how the live scope. I see the guys on TV and they're chasing a fish or going over to this and casting, but that one, you're just waiting for them to come.
They'll probably see how the fish react. Like sometimes they'll come up to lure and they'll look at it and they'll start swimming away. You can shake it. Or change colors if they go to it and swim off.
Gotcha.
Change colors or sizes, so they kind of see reactions. I guess
I think he just uses leeches, really.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to him, I don't know if he's doing that I know in the summer he does. I don't know what he uses ice fishing. Now that you say that, I don't know. But
gosh,
big time leech fisherman.
Oh, they use a ton of different jigs. They're doing tungsten jigs now. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, different styles and Popeye jigs and spoons and
a little Swedish 1.5 foot long rod,
Swedish pimples, all that kind of stuff. Hats off to them.
Yeah, I bought a bunch of their stuff whenever I was looking for stuff that could also be like doubled for cold water crappie stuff.
Yep.
Like some of their tungsten spoons and tungsten jigs, and man, I used to love to tie the ultralight trout jigs, the 1/80ths, 1/100ths, and that makes me really want to get into that with trout because I could now upsize the size of a jig head without, weight, and not have to worry about profile.
Yep.
And that gives me some dirty ideas. I bet they sell them. I bet they sell tungsten jig heads that you can tie on now.
Oh yeah.
For trout. I haven't looked at Jan's or anybody lately, but I bet they're out there.
Absolutely.
I would love to try that. But man, that's some good stuff. That's some freaking
someone in the comments a while back that said they've been fishing for 50 years and never caught a smallmouth.
Wow.
Oh.
Well, I didn't until I moved to Tennessee, obviously, but
we got smallmouth in Texas.
Wow.
I've never caught them.
Well, I heard they tried to get them in Florida at one time and they didn't take, or they tried it and didn't work or something. I heard they tried it in Florida too, which kind of weird, but
yeah, no kidding.
Mm-hmm.
I guess heat,
yeah, Florida lakes aren't real deep, are they?
No.
So they can't get
out of cool water. They got to have that cool water. So that didn't. I wasn't going to jive. Now I did hear down over in California at Clear Lake, a guy had like a 50-pound sack. I think last weekend or weekend before last, guy had a 27.9 bag and didn't cash a check, which is insane. That's insane. But what they're doing is they're stocking in the rainbow trout again. So these big spots are feeding on rainbow trout again. So you may see some new records or close to records out there since they're doing that.
Oh, I can't imagine a spot eating on a rainbow.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute. I heard that right?
Yep. That's where you get them big Huddleston swim baits. It's like, what, $500-$600, a rainbow trout.
Yeah, but I mean, how big is a spot got to be to hit a damn trout to begin with? I mean, are we talking put in, take out stalkers? Got to be, right?
I think they put them in a little, and they just grow. But yeah, I think they quit it for a while, for some reason, and I think they kind of figured out, we better start doing that again.
I can't imagine tying on a $500 lure.
Me either.
That's like
if it broke off, I'd be like, well, I'm done for 3 years. I guess I'll
Just like when A-Rig come out, I had a buddy and tied on A-Rig and he put on braid and he zing, think, and there went $80.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I was like, better you and me, bud. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I had one of my best friend was fishing with another guy that we knew out of our group, out of our old club, and this guy convinced him to convince my best buddy, to fish with him on a night tournament. And he goes back up. They go back up in this cove that has this wonderful lit up dock, night dock. Shit ton of timber, enough lights on this dock, you see it from space. And the other guy's like, man, I'm going to throw this A-rig head tied on, ready to go. Can't wait. And my best bud's like, I don't know about that shit. No. One dude hangs it up first cast.
Oh, jeez.
And by the way, nothing on this thing, nothing he was throwing was cheap. He had tungsten heads, he had Kytex.
Oh.
And it was just crazy and just absolutely lost his shit. Let's see. Oh, KTZ. Hello, KTZ. No, yeah, okay, KT, I get it. I'm sorry. I don't have a cute set of puppy dogs behind me to hand out duck feet. Or I might not be. I haven't got sleep in the last 48 hours, so forgive me for yawning over here. Making me talk about making me yawn. See what you did, KT? Damn it. If my girlfriend is back there, bite mama. I call one of her puppy dogs my girlfriend because she's got the prettiest face. Holy hell. Cute doggy. Always a fan of the good puppy dog around here. But yeah, I mean, geez, my gosh. I could never, I never had a rod that I could throw a full A-rig on.
Yeah.
Now I'm some freaking self-conscious about the yawning, and all I can do is yawn.
It's fun. When you bring in 2-3 at a time on that A-rig, oh man, you want to get it fired back out there as fast as you can.
Oh yeah. Well, I got to where I throw the finesse A-rigs. You can throw it on a spinnerbait rod, some of the smaller ones. So that's the way to go.
I forget whoever made it the mini rig or whatever it is, a small little head, and like a full 3 prongs.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about? That one?
Yep.
I've thrown that one out there. Let's see here. Yeah, you got me, come it, lady. Now my eyes are even watering. Damn it.
No.
It's bedtime. It is my bedtime. We got sunrise service tomorrow. We got to get up.
Yeah,
goodness gracious.
Put on our winter clothes because it's going to be like 50 degrees tomorrow morning. Golly.
Yeah, I know something. I said at the tournament today, about 10 o'clock, it started blowing, and by about noon, it was 25 to 30. Then couldn't get a bite on a spinnerbait, chatterbait, or crankbait. I'm like, what? So I just dropped it in a drop shot and started dragging it. I was like,
KTZ, thank you so much. I absolutely wish I had a dog and some treats now, because I would celebrate joy. Thank you so much. Donated 5 memberships to the channel. Thank you so much.
Oh, nice.
I appreciate that, KT. I tell you, if y'all ever want to check out some awesome body cam and just some general crime genre, Mrs. KTZ over there at her channel, and there's another just a real cool dude that's in that group over there, her and KFAR, former Navy man and jailer. They'll do a show a couple times a week called Booze and Body Cams.
Oh, heck.
Where you can get them snookered by donating, which is funny. That's always fun. Getting her pressing buttons, doing the live stream while slightly intoxicated is worth the price of admission.
Oh, boy.
And you donate, and the puppy dogs get a treat every time. Little $5 milk bone biscuits. For $5, you get a little 5-calorie milk bone biscuits. That way you're not, just overfeeding them. But yeah, they'll snap together. They hear super chat in their heads are like, you called? Oh yeah. Yeah. Dogs, they have a great vocabulary, but wonderful channels over there, and frequent them a couple times a week. Really do enjoy them. But man, so really do appreciate her stopping by. And man, I tell you, we don't get to talk about the positive and the fun stuff enough.
Yep. Or the memories, like the old lures and what we grew up on. I mean, that's good stuff, man. Good topic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved stumping Matt and Stefan on one time talking about old spinnerbaits. There was one called a Bumblebee way back in the day. Just generic flat rubber skirt, um, heavy wire, um, and the hammered blades.
Yep.
Um, just the old bullet head, oldest standard cone head.
Like
Just
the old H&H. I remember old H&H lures had that double hook and same thing, same look.
Yeah, but they had that flattened pancake down dimpled head.
Yeah.
Remember that? They still make those.
Yeah, they're still around, believe it or not.
That's a good little company.
Yeah.
Honest people out there with H&H. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry. That better? She said I'd wandered off camera. Oh.
Yeah. We weren't going to say anything. I'm just kidding.
I see how it is. Swallow my back and everything was killing me, so I had to adjust where I was at.
Oh, yeah.
She's over here trash talking me from the next room. She's like, look out. I can't see you. So that's what I'll call my producer in the background, cracking the whip on me.
Yes,
but
indeed.
yeah, man, yeah, H&H is good. They make one of my favorite alternatives to the Beetle spin, the H&H Cajun spin.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah,
man, they've got some neat colors.
Yep.
And what I like about them over the Beetle spin is over the years, they're not as the Beetle spin. That plastic has got hard.
Yeah.
I mean, you could melt that down and turn it into a tire and put it on your car.
I believe it.
I mean, that stuff was firm, to whereas H&H is a bit more supple, a bit softer. It may pull down some, but it's worth it. And their colors, I think, in my opinion, at least, are better. But it is what it is. But they always had good stuff out of there. And I want to say that they had a squid jig, a freaking crappie jig. If it wasn't them, it was somebody that did the H&H or that did a squid jig, just a little tiny crappie jig, because I can see the card that says squid jig on it. Does that ring a bell with you, Cajun?
Sounds familiar, but I'm like you. I slept since then.
Man,
a little bit.
I remember going.
Yeah.
There was like a sporting goods shop that did like bicycles and a whole bunch of other stuff. And on the back wall, they had this whole wall of just cards and cards and cards of different colors and sizes, crappie jigs. And I just looked at all the colors like, I want them all. I was told I could buy like 3.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what kind of travesty? What kind of bullshit's that?
Yeah, which 3?
Yeah, which 3 of the like 400 colors and like 6 sizes? It's like, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, I noticed like certain states are like Tennessee's like balsa baits. They're big on balsa baits. Big O. Kentucky's kind of jigs. They're still jigs with the cards. Like you was talking about. Have a card of 10 or 12. But it's neat seeing the different states are kind of known for different lure types. I guess
yeah. I mean, it's and like fishing on the river for trout. We used to do. We didn't know they were ice jigs, like the old little teardrops.
Yep.
We didn't know those were trout jigs.
They still call them.
We thought you put a piece of corn or a marshmallow, like a mini marshmallow, or a Maggie or something, a salmon egg on the back of them, a split shot above it. And we thought you let it just bump down the Deadgum River, bottom for trout. But It is what it is. I mean, later I found out there were ice jigs. I'm like, that's ice fishing? The hell you say? I mean, we caught like a lot of trout on them just doing it that way back in the day. Some point I want to like tip one of them with like a little tiny, one little micro grubs, little 1/2-inch grubs, curly tail. I know that Well, I don't know if MEPS or if Mistress Twister still makes them that. Talk about an underrated bait real quick. Spoon, Cyclops.
Yep.
MEPS Cyclops. I used to take a 00 and how they'd have the treble hook like tipped a little tiny 1/2-inch jig,
Yep.
1/2-inch really tail. I'd take a yellow one behind the gold 00 during mayfly hatches.
Yep.
Throw them around the docks.
Mm.
Holy shit! You catch 300 bluegill if you caught one.
Oh yeah.
Down through there, they'd see that thing. They would knock it out of each other's mouths trying to get it. Come up there and just T-bone another one, knock it away, and grab it. Another one, come up, T-bone him. Hell, you'd sometimes have it in 3 or 4 of their mouths on one retrieve. That was good stuff. But yeah, some stuff's long gone. And somebody was asking a while back, they could not remember the name of that weedless MEPS, or not MEPS. I guess it was MEPS actually. Weedless spoon with the trailer, Timberdoodle.
Timberdoodle, yeah.
Yep. And Johnson spoon, that and the Johnson spoon. I remember those.
Oh, a guy off that multi-stall dock where I caught that personal best. There used to be a guy that go out and get in his little V-bottom boat every day and troll back and forth doing the zigzagging trolling like we were talking about earlier with one of those Johnson spoons and would catch a couple of 3 bass between 3.5 5 pounds.
Dang.
And just go back and do that. He would only do it right at dusk.
Huh.
Like he'd start at dusk, and the second it got dark, he'd turn around and put his boat back in the stall. He was done. It was the only time they would do it. But they'd come out there and they'd hit it.
Hey, he had to figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, those were the days. But...
Hey, I got to jump off, but I appreciate CT you inviting me on and letting
Thank you so much for coming.
do this. This was awesome. I love talking fishing. And happy Easter, everybody. And we'll see you on the next.
All right, man. God bless, man. Have a good one.
See
All
you.
right.
If I can figure out how to leave.
I got you. Ready?
Oh,
there we go. Well, then there were 2. Well, thank you so much, Bob, for coming on tonight. We really appreciate you for answering the call there late. I kind of threw it in.
No, I was driving back from a tournament, man, so it kind of worked out pretty good. So it's all good.
No, I kind of threw it in y'all's lap at the last second there, but I wasn't convinced I was doing it till the last second because I was so tired and I still can't get it on a flyer. I was thinking about putting it off till tomorrow, but I wanted to do it today on the anniversary of the Red, Green, Yellow Day and
absolutely
do what I could while I could. So, but of course, I appreciate you coming out too, and we'll have to do it again sometime. Find another topic.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, do some show and tell.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
We got to get through all my metric ton of crap and find out what's what and what's where. And
I got some spring cleaning, and I'm like you. I got a boss, in-house boss that telling me about getting my tackle rearranged. So that's on the to-do list.
Gotcha. Well, we're gonna figure it out. I got to find all my old baits. I want to find some old Worth baits. I've got some old Worth plastics.
Nice.
And some Worth trailers. Their trailers were dry trailers. Do you remember those?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Like the leather cutout looking things, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, those were cool back in the day. A lot of stuff that these youngsters are going to look at me like, "What the hell is that?" But you know what? Yeah, it's like, but what's old is new now.
Yeah.
Well, you can catch fish on them.
Oh yeah,
I guarantee you. I've always caught what is it? Something woolly hog. Not woolly hogtail or it wasn't obviously that young, but something. Maybe not woolly. Hog collar or something. It was a centipede looking worm where the start off like the first ball was bigger, kind of like a pearl necklace, went on down to like you'd be and they had a bunch of little feelers off of each one of the balls.
Yeah.
But on the underneath side of them, they had a hole scooped out to where it would catch air and float. Great for a sea rig. And then if you rigged it with a small enough light wire hook, it would not break surface tension.
Yep.
You could throw it on a light line and just sit there and twitch it across the top like a centipede. You know what couldn't stand that? Big greenies.
Yeah.
Big greenies would just knock the piss out. They got offended that thing was in their zip code.
A great little creek bait too.
Oh, yes. Yes, that and the creeks with that and road runners and the Cajun spins and the curly tails and, just a double pendulum rig of crappie jigs.
Absolutely.
Flea flies.
Yep.
First crappie jig I ever threw. Flea flies. Man, goodness gracious. That was the good stuff. I used to basically have only flea flies.
Dang.
But then I started fishing the baby gets-its that were for crappie.
Yep.
The first two belly, crappie jig.
Yep.
And then went from those to the micro jigs, the trout micro jigs, the 1/80ths. And do what I had to do there. And believe it or not, those 1/80ths still catch surprisingly big crappie.
Oh, yeah.
They really will. Well, I appreciate you having on. I think we're going to try to wrap it up here. I'm looking at my counter, and I'm about time in the evening where this thing's going to start yelling at me.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Know the feeling.
Man, Rob, thank you so much for coming on this evening. I do appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I'm like you, man. I'm thankful that I know you and the missus there, and I consider you all good friends. And y'all have a blessed Easter tomorrow.
You too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and sign you out here, and we'll catch you next time. And then I'm going to go ahead and address everybody on the way out. Thank you so much, Rob.
All right, peace out, man. See you, buddy.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, folks, thank you, everybody, for coming in this evening. I really do appreciate it. Got to talk some fishing why this day is so special. Got to talk some good memories with some very good people, and appreciate all you guys showing out and showing up. So let's see here. Doc, Brian Lee, thank you guys so much. Happy Easter, y'all. I want to thank everybody. Let's see. TJIMIF. Of course, KTZ stopping by. TJ Fishing, obviously. Let's see here. Kevin. Oh, Kevin. Hey, Kevin. I'm sorry. I hope Kevin's still around. Didn't see you there, Kevin. Let's see here. Make sure to try to get to as many people as I can. It's hard for me to see the chat, but I appreciate y'all so much for being here this evening. Hopefully we can have more like this. I plan on doing an old lures video with a couple of good people here again here in the near future, and maybe we'll have some show and tell and bring Rob and of course Bob back in here, talk about good folks. And we'll have some fun with these kind of topics and do something to kind of lighten the mood every now and then. But you know how it goes. I thank y'all. Appreciate you. And welcome to all the new members, courtesy of KTZ tonight. Thank you so much, KTZ. And we will catch y'all on the flip side of and man, appreciate it. We will see y'all again soon. Let me make sure, see if I missed anybody here. All righty. Well, we'll catch y'all next time. You know how it is. Until then, keep it wet. See ya.